Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and this is my story of going to the regional championship in Washington, DC. So I didn't film my routine in the morning because I was in a bit of a rush because I set my alarm literally as late as possible. And I repacked my bag, so I want to have a slightly bigger backpack. But it is very, very early Thursday morning. I'm going to pick the homies up, and then we are going to Boston, get on an airplane. Woo, traveling. Now, this is like my fifth, maybe, regional championship. I can't really remember. And leading up to it, besides testing, I had been waking up earlier and earlier because our story starts early Thursday morning, 2 a.m., which is basically still Wednesday night. After I got done a Wednesday RCQ, which I did the classic 3-0 double draw, wait around for 2 hours, lose in the first round of top 8, I had to wake up 2 in the morning to pick up some friends and drive to Boston, because that's where we'll be getting on the plane to Washington, DC. I live in around central Maine. This goes off without a hitch, besides being extremely tired. However, there's a little bit of a situation. The friends I'm going with, David, John, and Zach. David and John are on the same flights as me. Zach is not. He leaves about a half hour later than us. We'll be getting there a little bit later. So the plan is to get to the airport, split up, and meet in DC. Because TSA was quick and we got there early just in case they weren't quick, I got some work done at the airport, scripted, edited a little bit, played some RuneScape, things like that. Got in the airplane, everything went smoothly. We got off the airplane and waited around the airport. Now, Zach's plane got in, and he was trying to find us. We were told we were between baggage claim 4 and 5, and he's like, well, I'm there. So what's going on? And I'm like, Zach, what airport are you at? And he's like, Reagan. I'm like, well, we're at Washington Duels. You know, the one 10 minutes away from the venue, not the one 45 minutes away from the venue, because there are 2 airports in DC. I've made the same mistake as Zach. And so we Ubered to the hotel, the 3 of us that flew into the correct airport. And Zach had to take a 45-minute Uber alone. Good old $150 or so round trip hemorrhage mistake. And we just chilled at the hotel. They didn't let us in early, even though I put on my biggest puppy dog eyes, which was quite a tragedy. As we got into the Uber, John hurt his knee, so that was a thing. But we got to the hotel and we were chilling and waiting for Zach. And I'm a little salty we can't get into the room early. But to be fair, we got there at like noon 30 or 1 or whatever. And check-in wasn't until like 3 or 3:30. Zach finally gets there and he is tilted off of the moon. The worst tilt I have ever seen this poor man in. But he got there. We waited for him to get food. We decided to go get food. The homies wanted Chick-fil-A, but we walked past a bento place. And I decided to check out the bento place instead of having more fast food. Then I went to the Chick-fil-A to join them and eat. The bento was awesome. Super, super good. After we finished up eating, we went back to the hotel lobby. Zach and I played a match. He's playing the green-black Yigger combo. I'm playing for the RC and all the tournaments, Yorian blue-white control. We had a pretty good match. I was kind of beating him up in all 3 games. In game 1, though, he like snuck out a combo from underneath it, which is kind of silly. But the match took right around an hour, and I looked up and there was a different person at the desk, even though it's still before check-in time. So I went and asked, and they've got me in the room early. All of us needed a nap because we all woke up right around 2 a.m. Once we woke up from the nap, Zach was still pretty tilted and salty, so we went for a walk looking for dinner. The 3 of us, and Zach stayed in the hotel room and said he's just going to get Taco Bell. That'll make him feel better. As we walked by the Taco Bell in the vicinity, there was a big sign out front that says closed for construction. So I couldn't send a text to Zach faster with the picture because his day was going just simply horribly. The rest of us found an awesome Mexican place while Zach ran back Chick-fil-A. We went back to the hotel room, ate, vibed, played some RuneScape, chilled out. Friday morning, I woke up to alarms from John and David, and a lot of snoozes to those alarms because they wanted to get to the venue early to check it out and all that stuff, but apparently decided not to because of all the alarms. Eventually, we finally get up. All of us went to McDonald's for brunch. You know, I went to Starbucks for some coffee. At that Starbucks, I had a backpack on, and my backpack hit a glass cup, which shattered in the Starbucks. So that was not a great start. The bad luck was transferring to me, but the Starbucks was very, very yummy. As I got to the convention for the first time on Friday, it frankly felt like home. I explored for a little bit, saw some homies that I hadn't seen for a while, got some RK Post tokens, and they were out of fish tokens, which kind of sucked because I was running fountain ports in my deck for the tournament. I left the convention quite a bit early to walk over to the Walmart, get some snacks, and then went back to the hotel room to get some work done, script, record, edit, some TikToks and things like that. And then went back over to the convention for a RCQ, because they're having a RCQ, not for the next day, but an RCQ for the season that's currently going on. And it was Pioneer. It was 5 rounds, single elim, and I decided to play the same 75 that I was playing for the RC. Round 1, I beat the blue-white control mirror. It was a decent match. I felt pretty in control the entire time. Round 2, I beat red-black transmog, which in theory is a bad matchup, but my opponent got stuck on lands both games, so, you know, we take those. And then round 3, I get paired against mono green and lost. One of the big stories of it is in game 1, I stabilized pretty hard and was gonna start attacking in the air. And then my opponent played a Prokinos, immediately flipped it, and it just stonewalled me for like 6 turns and allowed them to catch up and eventually win the game. Crazy game 1. And then game 2 and 3 were pretty set in stone. But I lost round 3 to mono green. I got some prize tickets, decided to go get barbecue, vibed at the hotel room, and get some rest for the RC the next day. We woke up on Saturday, ready for the regional championship. I take my Yorion blue-white control deck. We get McDonald's for breakfast and headed over to the venue for the players meeting and got sick new metal badges rather than just the little tiny dinky ones. I had various adventures between rounds, mostly just chilling and getting food and stuff like that. But let's go through the tournament. Round 1, I got paired against the blue-white control mirror. In fact, the blue-white Yorion mirror. It was not particularly close. Their cards just lined up so well. I lost pretty hard, so we're 0-1. Round 2, I got paired against red-black aggro. Opponent got stuck on land both games, especially in game 2 when they kept a 1-lander. It also turned out it was my friend's quarterfinals opponent from RC Denver, so we chatted about our friend and, you know, how the Pro Tour is going and things like that. But we beat them 1-1. Round 3, in an 1,800 person tournament, I got paired up to John, the car mate / plane mate / room or hotel mate. He was on mono white humans, and the match was not particularly close. He's playing Cavern of Souls. He went 1-drop into Cavern Thalia both games, and I'm pretty sure I cast 2 spells the entire time. And getting friendly fire in an 1,800 person tournament caused some pretty intense psychic damage. And then in round 4, came back, beat up Enigmatic Incarnation, not close. Round 5, I got paired into Enigmatic again. Game 1 took 40 plus minutes where I won. And so my opponent was really chill and just conceded the match, which I very much respected for respecting both of our time. And then round 6 got paired up to Enigmatic for the 3rd time in a row and finally lost. So it's pretty sad that the comeback didn't quite happen. I'm 3-3 at this point, so you have to 3-0 to make day 2. I get paired up against Boggles in round 7 and beat him up not close. Is probably their nightmare matchup. I am. And then round 8 got paired up against MTGO Grinder, who I've played about 1 million times on Magic Online, Stacks. And we had a pretty good match. Pre-board, I beat him up. Post-board, he beat me up. Pretty nice guy. He was playing Phoenix. And at 4-4, we died in the RC. I decided to go get Bento again, sign up for the Modern 5K RCQ. It was already pretty late, so I just kind of ate, played a little bit of RuneScape, and went to bed. I decided to play the Modern one because my brain was pretty fried from playing blue-white control all day. So there we're at. Zach was kind of sick, who was the one I was sharing a bed with. So he decided to not sign up for any tournaments the next day. Nobody in my hotel room made day 2. But John and David wanted to play the Modern 10K, which started a half hour before the Modern 5K. And so alarms start going off Sunday morning, and I'm in alarm hell again. They snooze a bunch of times. Wake me up so much earlier than I meant to be. And They decide they're too tired and drop them Vine or Ken K. I finally get out of bed alone and go to the modern 5K. But it is what it is. So tired. In round 1, I lost pretty hard to Storm. I was playing Boros Energy, by the way. Round 1, I lost pretty hard to Storm. Round 2, I beat up Self-Mill, Prized Amalgam. I don't want to call it Dredge because there are no Dredge cards, but that kind of deck. And then round 3, lost to Mono Black Necro, but it was a really cool dude from California. We talked about life. We talked about content. It was just like a really pleasant match. But I 1-2 dropped the modern 5K, headed back to the hotel room to chill, get some work done. I got some bento again and relaxed before the trip home. We had to wake up pretty early Monday morning. So early that the McDonald's was not serving breakfast yet, which is super sad, but the Starbucks was open. So I got a super expensive sandwich and they were out of caramel because I normally get a caramel macchiato. So I decided to just get a black cold brew. So disappointing morning. Zach had to Uber to the other airport again, and he had a layover. So the plan for the trip home was we had a direct flight to Boston, is for us to chill in Boston and wait for him, then go home. So whatever, so we Ubered to the other airport. Easiest TSA of my life. Didn't even have to take stuff out of our bags at the Washington Duels airport. Vibed at the airport for a little bit. I got played a little bit of RuneScape, and arrived in Boston. And so we had about a 2-hour wait, 2+ hour wait, waiting for Zach, the 3 of us in Boston. And so John and David needed to go grab their checked bags, so they had to go through TSA, and I decided to wait at the gates for Zach. While I was waiting, I decided to play a prelim with the Enigmatic deck because it looked really cool and I played against it. Ended up 3-1-ing, which is awesome. And I get a bunch of texts from John and David that they can't find the car. Apparently they walked around for about 2 hours and then decided to stay put until we were done. When Zach finally arrived at the airport, we found the car within 4 minutes and headed home. There you have my trip to DC. It was a pretty fun trip, even though Magic didn't quite go as planned. I really like hanging out with friends. I kind of ragged on them a little bit during this video, but I had a lot of fun. And if you want more trip recaps like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.